Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Sheena Shannon. I'm the Communications Director for the Arizona Education Association. And I would like to introduce to you Noah Carvelis, Littleton Elementary School music teacher and organizer for the Arizona Educators United.
Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Noah Carvelis. I teach K-8 music at Tres Rios Elementary School, and as Sheena mentioned, I'm also one of the organizers with Arizona Educators United. And as a teacher and as somebody who works every day in our schools, I can tell you right now that we are underfunding our students. Every single day, every single student in the state of Arizona is being underfunded, and by doing so, we are throwing away an entire generation's opportunity at academic success. And not only that, we are underpaying our educators. And so we have people, incredible professionals, who have devoted their entire lives to bettering our communities and our families, and they are leaving this state because they can't afford to do the job that they love with the community and the kids that they love. And not only that, we have crumbling public school infrastructure here right now. We have kids sitting in broken desks, studying out of 25-year-old textbooks in a room with a leaky ceiling, and that's unacceptable. So when you take a step back and you look at all of this, we're truly in a state of crisis right now in Arizona. We are in a state of crisis here in terms of our education system. So we're here on the night of a historic vote, and we are tremendously excited and proud to be here. And I'm tremendously excited and proud to introduce to you the Vice President of Arizona Education Association and an incredible educator and parent, Marisol Garcia.
Good evening. I'm Marisol Garcia, and I'm a proud Arizona educator out of the Isaac School District. I'm also the proud mother of a 6th grade student, Vicente. Today I was given the opportunity to vote on whether or not I support a walkout. And I know for many educators across the state, this is a very difficult decision. As a parent, I know that families across Arizona are eager to know the results of this vote in order to plan and prepare. But I also know as a parent how invaluable my son's teachers and school is to his everyday life. As I received the ballot, I began to think of the important things that I should think about as I voted. I thought of my colleague, Regina, a 10-year teacher who works as a lifeguard over the summer in order to take care of her 2 sons. I thought of Rosie, a special education paraprofessional who is dedicated to the students she serves but does not receive a livable wage. And I thought of Janine, our school counselor, who is dedicated to support our students who live in crisis with a caseload of over 500 students. I know that my son's teachers were challenged as well today and had similar thoughts that ran through their minds. But I trust his teachers every day when I drop them off to school, and I trust that they made the right decision today. Every day, Arizona educators go to work and dedicate themselves to supporting and challenging and creating opportunities for students like my son. For many of us, this is a devotion that has left us living paycheck to paycheck and sometimes leaving our family's needs at the wayside. I know my students are watching tonight, and I know they expect me to fight for them because I fight every day for them, and I'm going to continue to do so. So today when I voted for my students. I voted for my son. I voted for the future of Arizona and for the policies that will guide us into the future. I now get to introduce the president of the Arizona Education Association, Joe Thomas.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Thomas. I'm a social studies teacher, most recently from Skyline High School in Mesa, Arizona, and I currently proudly serve as the president of the Arizona Education Association. Tonight is a historic vote. To my knowledge, no group has ever asked a single question like this to all of the public school employees across the state of Arizona, but the Red for Ed movement did. Before we announce those results, I want to take one moment to say thank you. Thank you to the members of the Arizona Education Association. Thank you to the members of the Arizona Educators United. Thank you to everyone who has put Red for Ed in a tweet, in a post, on the back of their car, or honked at someone driving down the car. Not out of road rage this time, but out of respect for our students and our schools. It is your courage, it is your voice, and it is your advocacy for all of Arizona's students that have brought us to this historic night. Our journey has been inspiring. Noah asked us to simply wear red shirts one day, and we did. And then we did again. And we did so many times we decided we would all go down to the Capitol and hold a rally where thousands of educators and parents and supporters showed their love for Arizona students, and the Arizona Educators United released their 5 demands. And AEA proudly stood next to them, supporting those demands. We then moved to walk-ins, where we showed our conviction, our love for our communities. And 2 Wednesdays ago, when we did a statewide walk-in, we had 110,000 people walk into our schools alongside us, and 1,100 schools across the state of Arizona. That shows the breadth and power of this movement. And tonight, we voted. Arizona educators have delivered a strong message tonight and overwhelmingly support walking out of their schools for their students and their communities and their colleagues.
Yes.
With over 57,000 votes cast and tallied, 78% of the school employees in this state said yes. This is undeniably and clearly a mandate for action. Now that educators across Arizona have spoken, our journey moves forward. And to talk about those next steps, I want to bring back to the microphone Noah Carvelis.
All right, Noah.
We've thought about it very carefully. And here's what we're going to do next. We need to give our communities time to prepare. So next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we'll be continuing walk-ins as we have done for the last several weeks. On Thursday, we will begin a walkout. We can no longer allow the status quo in this state to go unchanged. We need to bring the change that our educators and our students and families in this state need.
Yes!
We'll take questions, and then I have the press release if you need it afterwards. Thank you, Howie.
Noah, yes!
Let's talk here. I know when I talked to you guys, one of the issues was not just the plurality, but the geographic. I'm hearing from a lot of rural districts that they're not as anxious. So tell us, in terms of the rural districts, tell us the margins out there, places like you and places like Havasu.
Yeah, we have to sit down and review it and get the exact numbers right now. We haven't had a chance because it's just ended at 8 o'clock to sort it through and just see our big numbers there of where we're seeing tons of support. So I can't give you the exact demographics for each one right now.
That leads to the other half of the question. I've been told by some of the Yuma Red for Ed folks, they're not interested in walking out. If the rural teachers continue to go to school, does that undermine the walkout?
You know, I think when you have 77, 78% saying that they want to take this action, I mean, that's a significant portion. So I'm not personally concerned about that right now because we've seen such strong support for that action tonight. As Joe put it, I mean, this is a mandate for action as we see it.
Have you put any limits on how long you are willing to extend the walkout?
So as I put it, we need to see change here. So we've put forward our demands. We need to see a change here, and we need to see a response from the legislature.
Are you willing to go to the end of the school year?
Yeah, I don't want to put any limitations on it right now because we need to stay responsive. We need to stay in communication with our group and our communities and see where we're at constantly.
Hey Joe, could you just step up and just specify for us specifically what are you asking for that would end this walkout?
Well, we want to see movement on the demands. We've sent 2 letters to the governor, and we've heard nothing, absolutely nothing. Hand-delivered 2 letters to the governor saying, sit down with us and let's find a real solution to end the teacher crisis, to bring $1 billion back to our schools. It's been stolen from our students and schools, and let's give them the opportunities they need to have success. So we've seen no movement on that. The governor released a plan that's falling apart as we speak. There's sweeps that make educators really look at the commitment that legislators and the governor have to their students in schools. They're going to rob money from the developmentally disabled. They're going to take money from arts. They're going to sweep money from ADE and Medicaid. That's not what teachers want to see for the future. They want real revenue streams brought into Arizona. And the good news is the legislature's still in session. And so they can fix that in just a few days. And that's what we're calling on them to do by Thursday, is meet us at the demands. Give our schools, give our students the schools that they deserve. Give us the schools that we want to work in, and give us the schools that will stop people from leaving, stop educators from leaving our state and teaching in somewhere else. I'm tired of seeing ex-Arizona teachers. I want to see people like me who moved to this state because the jobs were good and the pay was good. And we don't have that right now. So we have to make sure that our legislature and governor hear us and find the political courage to do what's right for our students.
Joe, where does the money come from, given you've seen the same budget numbers I have, whether you believe Dougie's numbers or the JLBC.
So here's the game that's played every year. Here's the game that's played every year. Tax cut, tax cut, tax cut. A year later, there's no money for schools. And we're tired of that game. There will be no tax cuts passed this year. That's one of our demands. Legislators need to reinvest dollars, the $1 billion that they stole from our students in schools over the last 10 years. Let's roll back those corporate tax cuts. Let's have the people that can afford to pay. Let's look at all sources of revenue streams. And the simple answer is, Howie, that's their job to find the money. We give them the power as elected officials to find the job. And I'm tired. Educators are tired of hearing a 2/3 majority is too high. There's plenty of votes down there to send the money to the schools.
Okay,
Thank
let's
you.
get another question, Ricardo.
I'm sorry?
Why would the governor meet with you right now?
Because I'm a voter, because I'm a leader of educators, because I'm standing next to the leader of the Arizona Educators United.
This group has endorsed one of his opponents, David Garcia.
Well, I think he's governor until the election, and I think the budget's going to happen before that election. Let's see if he can do the job that he was voted in to do, or I know what'll happen in November.
Let's take another question. Ricardo. Noah?
So, what happens? You guys walk out, and it's like Oklahoma. You know, teachers are out and about, rallying at the Capitol, and the state legislature just isn't being receptive to the message that you're putting. What happens then? Are you guys going to push some sort of ballot initiative? Is there some sort of threat that you guys are dangling?
Yeah. Right now, we're focused on our actions in this legislative session right now. So, as I told Howie, we're going to be constantly looking at this, at the engagement we're seeing across campuses and across the state, down at the Capitol, what's happening in the legislature right now. So, that personally, for me, that's where my focus is right now.
Noah, can you say anything about the hourly workers who may not be able to attend work if their school's closed when they're making, $12 an hour and probably living paycheck to paycheck?
Yeah, they're a huge piece of this movement. We've said that all along. We want to continue to advocate for them. So I'm personally open to looking and see if we can figure out ways that we can work things out. I've spoken with my superintendent personally about what he thinks he could do. So I'm confident that we can keep those lines of communication strong here and figure out a way where we're not negatively impacting those people. Because for us, this whole thing is about getting everyone to a better place right now, and so we need to be conscious of those things.
No,
certainly.
Of the 200 plus school districts, how many do you expect are going to actually shut down?
I can't say right now because I would be speculating. But I look at that 78% number, and I can say I would expect a lot. That is a significant portion. So I think you can expect a lot out.
Are you surprised by the margins tonight? 78%.
I think we all sensed that something big was happening here tonight. 78% is significant. So it tells us what I think a lot of us suspected. Teachers see through this. They're tired of empty promises. They're tired of coming up short year after year, and they're not taking it.
Noah, can you characterize the support that you guys are getting from superintendents and school boards? Are they willing to go through a long-term walkout, multiple-day walkout? What
Yeah.
are you guys seeing?
I can't speak on behalf of every single district throughout the state, but the districts that I've been in communication with, or I've heard from other educators who are in communication, the districts, overwhelmingly, I feel right now, are willing to work with us on this and make sure that our communities and our educators and our students are not negatively impacted by this, because they feel it as well. They're operating every single year without the funds that they need. And so I think overwhelmingly we have that strong support, and I think when you have 78% of educators voting for this action, the districts also need to be responsive to that.
Well, no, if the legislature, and I know the legislature pretty well, if they don't budge and you lose this gambler, we're talking about seniors getting ready to graduate. It seems like they're going to be in limbo. I mean, that is a possibility. I mean, the timing is rather precarious.
Talking about seniors in high school?
Yes.
Yeah. So of course we keep these things in mind, but for us as educators, the worst possible thing we could do is to not take action right now. Because if we maintain the status quo, that is way worse than missing a couple days of school or missing a softball game or something like that. I'm sensitive to those issues. I truly am as an educator, but we need to act.
But also throwing graduation off track for students who've worked so hard.
Again, my biggest concern in this moment right now, and while I am sympathetic to it and that concern, we can't let the status quo continue. We can't continue to throw away academic futures. The biggest disservice any of us could ever do to our students right now is to not act in this moment.
Last question, Howie.
Is there a strike fund for the teachers? Is there a strike fund?
I'll ask the strike fund too, but let's talk more realistically. 3 days, you've been down there. These people are like snails. 3 days, really enough time to give them to act?
They need to act. They need to act right now, and hopefully this motivates them to do that, because I agree, it moves too slow down there, and this should wake everybody up down at the Capitol.
What about a strike fund?
Thank you very much.
Is there a strike fund?
They'll be available for individual questions afterwards. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Noah, is there a strike fund?
Right now we have a GoFundMe set up right now.
A GoFundMe? Okay.
We do have a GoFundMe.
Yeah, with the governor.